Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Shakira Peer. In the headlines, Cabinet has approved the Disaster Resilience Strategy as an extension to the Climate Resilience and Recovery Plan. Cabinet has approved the amendments to the VAT and Excise Act, and Cabinet approves finalization of procurement bill for development of fiscal rules. Details of the headline stories and more when we return.
The hurricane season is less than a month away. Find out today what types of hazards that could happen where you live. Hurricanes can cause many hazards, including flooding due to heavy rainfall, large waves along the coast, strong winds, landslides, and falling rocks. Determine your risk and be prepared for any eventuality. A message from the Government Information Service.
Welcome back. A disaster resilience strategy (DRS) was developed for Dominica with the assistance of the IMF earlier this year and was assumed under three pillars: structural resilience, financial resilience, and post-disaster resilience. The DRS took into consideration the progress made in structural resilience and proposed that government continue with the following core investments on the road network, air and transport connectivity, seaport, flood prevention, energy, health, housing, zoning and land use, water and sanitation, insurance, government self-insurance fund, and strengthening of private insurance to include low-income households. Food security, effective disaster response and recovery, national action plan for risk reduction, social data capture, and improvement of social safety nets are the four main propositions for post-disaster and social resilience. As of yesterday, December 8, 2020, the Cabinet of Dominica has approved of the Disaster Resilience Strategy as an extension to the Climate Resilience and Recovery Plan, CRRP, which was published in May 2020.
The government is committed to implementing this strategy. As you would have observed, we have already started implementing a number of the recommendations. We believe that this strategy, with the NRDS and the CRRP, will guide our efforts at becoming the first climate resilient country in the world. Many of our partners are committed to assisting us in achieving this goal. We thank them again for partnering with us. May God continue to bless them and the people of Dominica.
Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, Youth at Risk, Gender Affairs, Senior Security, and Dominicans with Disabilities, Honorable Dr. Alice King, congratulates the new executive of the National Youth Council of Dominica. This as a new president has been elected. The elections were held on Saturday, December 5, 2020. Minister King commended the youth who presented themselves to serve.
As Minister responsible for youth development and empowerment, I wish to congratulate the newly elected executive of the National Youth Council. I ask that this new executive rely on God for patience and understanding as they discharge the duties of their new positions. I commend all the young people who have made themselves available to serve the youth of our country, and I urge them to continue to work towards the empowerment of young Dominicans.
Minister King says she looks forward to working with the new council and pledged her support to the continued development of Dominica's youth.
To the President, Ms. Ashma McDougall, please accept my warm congratulations on your victory and my best wishes for your success as you prepare to take up the responsibilities and the challenges of the National Youth Council along with your new executive. As you embark upon your new responsibilities, I wish to assure you and the other members of the National Youth Council that I look forward to working with you not only to develop closer relations, but for the development of programs which will benefit the youth across the island.
The other executive members are Fire Lander, the first Vice President, Georgiana Albert, second Vice President, Enya Peters, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Ashfred Norris, Chairman of the General Assembly, Jonathan Jones, publicity coordinator, and the committee members are to be determined. The National Youth Council was first inaugurated on April 11, 1970, and has a long history of supporting, promoting, and sustaining a tradition of youth development, youth empowerment, and youth involvement. The Fire and Ambulance Services has been one of the first responders in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Their hard work and efforts were recognized on Friday, December 4, 2020, when a ceremony was hosted in their honor. Alia Martin reports.
Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, expressed his utmost respect to the fire officers for demonstrating consistently their commitment to the task.
Everyone who is giving his or her life to country, and you're doing so when you get up every day to serve. And by doing that, every one of you sitting before me and standing before me is giving your life to something that is bigger and greater than yourself. For this, my dear friends, every fire officer in the Commonwealth of Dominica Fire Service is a hero.
Minister Blackmore also acknowledged the dedication of 28 new fire officers who became an addition to the department during the COVID-19 pandemic. Chief Fire Officer Mr. Josiah Dupe is proud of the output of his officers and commends them for their hard work in the ongoing fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is a job like no other. As a matter of fact, I say that this is not just a job. This is not just a career, but this, which we are involved in, is in fact a calling. I say it's a calling because it's not your average person that really come here and perform the task that we ask these men and women to perform. So it is a calling.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security and Home Affairs, Ms. Joanne Commodore, has extended her congratulations to the awardees.
We congratulate you on your consistency. We congratulate you on your unfailing service above self. We congratulate you for your love of country. We congratulate you because you have shown us that when our backs are against the wall, you will deliver, and you will do so with a smile, with love, and with compassion.
The Fire and Ambulance Service has recognized over 25 fire officers for their response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and a few of their new recruits after assessment in two key areas, theory and practical. The Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Ms. Joanne Commodore, were also recognized at this ceremony. Alia Martin for the Government Information Service.
The government of Dominica is looking toward launching the Visa Entrepreneurship Program geared at bringing economic opportunities and financial investments in the country, adding value foreign direct investment into the private sector.
To help grow the economy and to provide encouragement and support to our micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, we are taking further action to create additional opportunities to support MSMEs with financing. In my last budget address, I announced that we would be introducing an Entrepreneurship Visa Program, EV program, as a new platform for entrepreneur financing and engagement, and also to generate new resident and consumer activity on island. I want to record my appreciation to Mr. Kenny Green of Advanced Global Partners, who headed the working group tasked with developing the EV program, and to the other public and private sector representatives who participated. This group has delivered a development plan for the program, which is currently receiving the attention of the Cabinet. The EV program is a residency by investment program that creates a path to citizenship but it is not the CBI.
Speaking at the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce's final Eggs and Issues breakfast for 2020, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit went on to highlight the benefits expected from the Visa Entrepreneurship Program.
The Entrepreneurship Visa Program will add several important benefits to our economy. And just to name a few. One, it will add new consumers into our country, as participants are required to spend a minimum of 200 days in Dominica over a 2-year period. This, along with other requirements, will qualify them to become citizens. These are people who will have to reside, eat, and recreate here, and this will have a valuable impact on the economy. Two, it will stimulate new investments in growing local businesses, as qualifying local companies will have access to the special fund, capitalized with contributions by participants in the program. And three, it will also add new energy and vitality to the economy, as new applicants can either take equity stakes in local businesses, which seem attractive to them, or invest in new businesses in areas which government will mandate as available or needed, with a focus on employment creation.
Prime Minister Skerrit says government does not expect the same response to this program as the CBI. However, this category of residents is expected to further stimulate Dominica's economy through entrepreneurship.
We anticipate that the amount of people who will wish to avail themselves of this EV program would be much less than the CBI. But it creates greater opportunities for locals who can provide goods and services to this new category of residents. The special focus on injecting capital into our MSMEs and entrepreneurs on more flexible and easier access terms will provide an important stimulus for increased activity.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit led a delegation to the Dailies to Petite Savan Road in September of this year. The Dailies to Petite Savan Road was closed after the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, when the community of Petite Savan was totally devastated and deemed unsafe by government. Government took the initiative to rehabilitate and clear this road to facilitate access between the two communities, encouraging trade and farming in that part of the island. Parliamentary representative for the Lapland constituency, Honorable Kent Edwards, says the road will be fully cleared after a gorge affecting traffic is removed.
It is now cleared from Dailies to Petite Savan, and the only thing that is impeding traffic now is a gorge at the Petite Savan area. And once that is done, we will be able to traverse this area, and what is a dead end will now be opened, because as we all know, this area is very vulnerable to natural disasters.
Meantime, Prime Minister Skerrit says access to the road will assist with generating income in the constituency.
It looks like the people of Dailies are happy about this, and they're welcoming it, because it also facilitates them to sell their agricultural produce in Bacatel and Fort Saint-Jean, and of course on the Grand Bay side, and also to facilitate the fishermen from Fort Saint-Jean and Stowe as an easier access to sell their fish in Dailies and Lapland, because Dailies and Lapland and Boutica are not known to be fishing communities. So there's a bartering or exchange of produce, and we sell from Dailies. We sell our agricultural produce from Fort Saint-Jean and Stowe. We sell across the mountain our fish, and I think that can certainly enhance the opportunities for them. So it is on these bases we have decided to, at this stage, to give serious consideration to the reopening of the road and to create access between these two communities.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here, and he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family, just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes you have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spiced tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you're going out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand. That's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
Welcome back. The Cabinet of Dominica has approved the finalization of the procurement bill for the development of fiscal rules that would allow the country to better able to withstand financial shocks. A debt portfolio review will also be brought before Parliament on Wednesday, December 16, 2020.
Today, I am happy to report that the Cabinet of Dominica has made significant progress in advancing these measures, which are critical to the development of a dynamic, economic, resilient Dominica. We have approved the following: the development of fiscal rules and responsibilities framework, which will establish parameters that allow us to build fiscal resilience. Note, from October 2020, we have been making contributions to the Government Vulnerability Risk and Resilience Fund at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank in the amount of $500,000 per month. 2. Cabinet approved the publication of a draft Public Procurement and Disposal Public Property Bill. The bill will be made available to the general public by December 16th for review and feedback. 3. Debt portfolio review will be laid in Parliament next Wednesday, December 16, 2020.
Minister Grant says these efforts speak to this government's continued commitment to fiscal prudence and ensuring that Dominica can better withstand external shocks and natural disasters.
Your government will continue its effort at ensuring the sustainable development of Dominica. We recognize the events such as natural disasters, the impact of global crisis, and the likes will continue to occur. We have no control over these. What we must continue to do is prepare for the inevitable by building resilience in our system, including public finance management. These will result in a prosperous Dominica that all of us and our children and grandchildren can enjoy.
The Cabinet has also approved the amendments to the VAT and Excise Act. The government will seek Parliament's approval of these amendments to facilitate the permanent implementation of these measures on December 16, 2020. The VAT amendment will also include the exemption of VAT on the import of pleasure crafts and excursion boats measuring at least 45 cubic meters along with their engines. This was also declared in the Prime Minister's 2020-2021 budget address. He also announced the removal of VAT and import duty on packaging and labeling materials, as well as on the equipment and machinery used in the production of goods to improve the competitiveness of locally produced goods. Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization and Kalinago Upliftment, Honorable Cozier Frederick, says these measures will directly benefit the tourism and manufacturing sectors.
These measures were decided following consultation with the stakeholders. As a government, we are happy that we are able to bring some relief to support particularly the micro and small businesses. We are aware that many of them have been waiting on this. We hope these measures will put into good use and that many will take the opportunity to expand their businesses and create new ones. Let us continue to play our part in building a dynamic, resilient Dominica.
As the government of Dominica continues to prioritize the housing needs of all citizens, more houses are being constructed across the island. Housing structures have successfully been completed in Cotton Hill, Georgetown, Saint-Sauveur, La Plaine, Dale East, Grand Fond, Grand Bay, Castle Bruce, Bellevue-Chopin. This year, over 100 citizens have benefited from the Dominica Housing Recovery Project designed to replace houses destroyed by Hurricane Maria.
Our deliberate focus on housing for these hundreds of Dominicans is simply because we understand that safe living conditions contribute to the overall well-being of our people, to the ability to achieve financial success and improve their standard of life, and for their children to access better educational and other opportunities in life. This is what your government's housing initiative is about.
PM Skerrit says the government of Dominica continues to empower citizens to create wholesome lives and create better futures for their families. Meantime, disaster shelter and regional emergency resource centers are being constructed as government paves the road to dynamic Dominica, fostering economic resilience one step at a time.
We have completed the Layo disaster shelter and started construction of regional emergency resource centers at Casa Bruce and Jimmet to ensure that our citizens are prepared for and protected against any extreme weather event or natural disaster.
The Grand Bay Fire District has received a new fire appliance at the cost of $299,000. Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Honorable Raymond Blackmore, handed over the keys for this new appliance to the Fire Service Division on Friday, December 4, 2020 at the Fire Brigade headquarters. The new appliance will serve as a replacement for the Grand Bay First Aid Firefighting Unit. Minister Blackmore says in this modern world, a smaller appliance does not mean it is less efficient.
For you to work efficiently and effectively, you are going to require the requisite tools of trade. Not only the uniforms that you wear, not only the numbers that we need, but also in terms of the appliances that you need to fight fire and other related matters to fire.
Chief Fire Officer Mr. Josiah Dupie explains the functions of the new appliance.
It's not your usual huge water tanker like those you see over to your right or for the head table to your left. But this vehicle has just over 200 liters of water. But what is wonderful about this, although it carries less water than the vehicle which it replaces, and the minister alluded to that, it does have greater firefighting capacity than the vehicle or appliance it replaced. And that is because of its pumping system. So it delivers water, without getting too much into the technical jargon, it delivers water in a diffused form. It's not your regular straight jet firefighters language, but what it does is it allows a fire in a confined area. It allows the temperature of that fire to drop very rapidly.
And now your weather update. A weak trough is expected to move across the area during the next 24 hours. However, a relatively dry atmosphere with brief isolated showers can be expected across the island. Occasional cloudiness with a few brief showers can also be expected across the remainder of the island chain during the next 24 hours. Slight to moderate sea conditions are expected during the next 24 hours with waves peaking near 7 feet. Northerly swells could affect the west coast by the weekend due to an approaching frontal boundary. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here in the GIS News Production team, I'm Shakira Pear. Thanks for watching.